Hi, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Adam Bearup. I'm a builder that takes on projects that other builders do not dare. I'm known around the world for leading our teams to many national and international awards, and best known as the star of the hit documentary Sheltered, Underground, and Off the Grid. I have a master's degree in green building and a PhD in sustainable structures and design. And this type of building is my passion. Recently, a guy got a hold of me who was interested in some of the knowledge that I have because he owns an island in Michigan. And I think, island, I need to know all about this. And that guy is none other than Dan the Beast Severn. Yes, the UFC Hall of Famer, WWF superstar, and a guy I watched and I'm a big fan of. Well, apparently he's sort of a fan with me and the stuff that we've done. But I have a rule, as I told Dan. I need to see the project site and I need to get to know whoever it is that I'm going to work with. Because Dan wants to work side by side on his projects. Now, before I get too excited about any projects, like I said, I need to get out there and see what's going on. So this video that you're about to watch, Dan let me bring the cameras along and film everything. And I guarantee you that some of the things that you see on this video are not available anywhere else. He opened his life up to us and he takes us on a tour where I totally nerd out in his training center. Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. And at the end of this video is the outtake section. You do not want to miss this. This is some seriously candid stuff that you'll never see in any of the interviews that happen at, some of these events and meet and greets and stuff like that. This is me and Dan driving around Michigan doing all sorts of stuff. You don't want to miss it. So as soon as the video's done, check out those outtakes. Thank you for watching. And now let's get to it. Come on, let's go. Well, we are on an adventure today. I came in contact with a sports legend, fellow Michigander, UFC Hall of Famer, professional wrestler, and one heck of a great guy, Dan the Beast Severn. And my mission today is to spend the day with Dan and talk about the possibilities of building with the Beast. I'm about a mile away from his sports training center here in Michigan, southern Michigan. So let's see if we can find it and connect with Dan, see what he has planned for us today. I'm here with Dan the Beast Severn.
Grrr.
And we'll get into why he has that name and what his history is and why we're here today. But I'm going to spend the day with this guy, and it's going to be a hoot. So what do we got planned first?
Well, I guess in the background, what is this 2 men in a canoe? I don't know. I mean, and it's early in the morning.
It's early in the morning. The sun hasn't even come up yet, and there's 2 big dudes in early spring in Michigan, and it's cold out.
Yeah, it's like, I think only like 32. I think it might warm up to like 35 today.
That would be great. That's
so
why
we don't want to go tipping over in this canoe in the water that we will be going across.
Dan, like I said, you'll get to know more about him as we take this ride to wherever we're going. He's a great trainer, a great coach, and I think it's part of his plan for us to get to know each other better if we take this canoe, out somewhere.
Well, I don't know. Have you ever seen the movie Deliverance?
I know you got a rich fighting history and a Hall of Famer in the UFC, but I am not going to let some dude take me down. Let's go see what kind of trouble we can get ourselves into.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, come along. We're going to have a great day. One of the questions is, when you were working the jobs that you had, At what point did it cross your mind that you wanted to fight, in the ultimate? Or whatever your first chain of combat sports was? I'm very interested in that.
Well, I mean, it's I never thought about fighting, period. We were talking a little bit previously, I was making this trip to Howell to go look at the Island project. Certain stuff with. Sorry about that. My destiny was simply just moving to Coldwater, Michigan for a job opportunity. That's why I live in Coldwater. Again, I know it's an awful long story, but I went from doing work in Chicago. I would leave my family on a Sunday late afternoon, early evening, drive basically 5 hours to get into Chicago, and I worked Monday through Friday. And Friday after work, I would leave work right then and there. I was all packed up, and would drive home and be home for roughly 30 hours. And then repeat again. I did that for a few months. And then, that's another kind of, I'll say a little bit sad story how that kind of ended. But the gentleman that lived out of Coldwater knew of my athletic background, knew of my mechanical background there as well. He basically offered me a job in Albion, Michigan. So I'm now driving from Wausau, Michigan to Albion, Michigan. An hour and a half drive one way. Come wintertime, an hour and a half drive one way could be an easy 2.5 hour or longer drive, because I've been in some ugly Michigan weather. So basically, I did that for I don't think a little over a year's time, and then within that year's time, the gentleman who hired me went on to bigger and better things out of Coldwater. Now he's offered me, it's a brand new corporation that's coming on up. He knew what good of a job I did there in the quality control department, so he wants to hire me there. So he's offered me a nice salary. He offered me profit sharing. He's offered me all the bells, buzzers, and whistles that a young married man with a young family wants to hear. I'm like, well, how long do I have to think about this? 2 weeks. So literally in 2 weeks, I sold a home, I bought a home, I went to work, and at the end of the first week, I did not have a job. And this was all in 1992. And the United States was also in a recession. Did you hear that, America? The United States was in a recession back in 1992. Kind of what we're heading for, or actually, we're actually in right now, but it's going to get a whole lot uglier. Wake up. Get your heads out of the sands. Get your heads out of each other's asses. It's happening. So, excuse me for diverting, but beware. The beast is telling you right now. And so, literally, I never been in a real fight in my entire life. And I saw a flyer. It said Tough Man Contest. Tough Man was basically a boxing event, 3 rounds, 3 1-minute rounds, I think 16-ounce gloves and ham and eggers, but then also there might be some legitimate boxers inside there. All I knew is that first prize was $1,000, and I needed $1,000. Now the cliche goes, necessity is the mother of invention. No, necessity was the father of invention. I've got, I think I had probably 3-4 children at that time, and then I got to keep the roof over their heads, and I got to keep food on the table. I walked into the arena of Tough Man, and I forget. I think it was a total of 5 matches. I think I had 5, maybe 6 matches. 1 match on Friday night, and then whatever was left over on Saturday. And there's only 2 weight classes. 190 and under, and anything over. I was in that category of anything over. But I had already started my professional wrestling training, and these matches were being held inside of a professional wrestling ring. So I already knew the dynamics of the ring and how to use this ring. So I got this big old hoss who's throwing some haymakers at me. I'm thinking, forget this. I don't want to get my head taken out of. So I just closed the distance, hitting him in the chest with my gloves, driving him backwards. So as I got him going backpedaling, we're about to hit the ropes, and I know the dynamics of a big old rubber band. We're going to go, and then I'm going to feel weight and inertia come right back in. So as soon as I feel it come right back in, I lock around his body, and I do a belly-to-belly launch. I launch him, crowd explodes. He flies through the air, hits the canvas, rolls up into the ropes. I mean, he's just discombobulated. And Art Dorr, the creator of Tough Man, he looks like Wolfman Jack. He's got all this big mop of gray hair, gray beard, and he's got the microphone. He's wearing his black tuxedo. He hears the crowd go crazy. He looks up at me. I look down at him. He goes, well, throw him again. I go, game on. I can do this. I can't do this boxing thing, but I can do this grappling type of thing. And literally, people were in awe because I was like a barbarian out there because I didn't do anything like a boxer. It was like I'm clubbing people like a seal, and I'm getting underhooks, doing hip tosses, and doing all kinds of things. And all I know is that 2 days, 5 men later, and a set of newfound skills were born. And I still have that Tough Man jacket to this day.
What age were you?
Oh, probably that's right around at 30, 35, 36. Because I went from that to doing things, going over to Japan, and then right then, quickly after that, UFC, mixed martial art, or actually, it's known not as mixed martial arts, it's known as NHB, no holds barred.
So you went to Japan after Tough Man?
After Tough Man, I was already pursuing a professional wrestling career first, and so I used my real name, I used my real amateur wrestling credentials, and so I've got so many legitimate amateur wrestling credentials that these different organizations were intrigued with it. It easily got me to be in their various matches. The thing that I despised is when I had to go out there in a ring and I had to lose to some turd that can't carry my jock strap. I'm like, but I need the money. So I had to play along with the program because I needed the money.
So with we'll call it the UFC, even though it was Ultimate Fighting Championship, right? Originally Ultimate. Did somebody approach you, or did you say, I think I want to go do that, like you did with the Tough Man?
No. Pay-per-views back then were very limited. Back at that time period, in order to go to a pay-per-view, you had to go to a movie theater inside of a major city, and that's how pay-per-views were being viewed. Now, fast forward to today, you pull out your little cell phone, and you can watch a pay-per-view taking place right on your cell phone. And I just lost my thought because I was trying to look at that road.
All of a sudden, the opportunity to...
Well, I mean, it was... I did not see the UFC until a friend of mine watched the first two and copied them on an old VHS tape and showed it to me and said, hey, you ought to think about doing this. And I'm looking at, how ugly it was. I mean, people are being soccer kicked in the face, teeth are being flying on out. I'm thinking, these are not exactly skill sets that I possess. He said, but look at this skinny little guy doing jiu-jitsu. Of course, he was referred to Royce Gracie. I said, well, in my mind, I kept thinking to myself, well, a striker has to be within arm's reach to punch me, legs range to kick me, knee me or elbow me. I'll just simply stay outside of range, let them try to go for it, and then simply move in quickly and clinch, take down, or jam them up against the cage wall. I mean, literally, I came up with that concept back in 1994, because that was my first one, and that's literally, that concept is still legit to this day, and a lot of competitors don't even realize that. A sport that has evolved greatly, and yet some of their strategies are not very well put together. I wonder sometimes who their coaches are, where a relic like Dan Severn is still relevant.
Well, that's because we live in a world of spoon-fed crap, and what you did because you had to provide for your family with your clubs and tough man and flipping people over, and I'm going to do whatever I got to do. You know, that relates to the working man, working woman. Do what you got to do. That is lacking a lot in this day. That's one of my biggest complaints with some of the people I know, or watch what I say, is that they sit there and expect
wait. You don't have to watch what you say at all here. I actually respect a person more when they speak their mind, because we live in a very pussified world nowadays where young men and women are staying at home, living in mama's and daddy's basement or in a spare bedroom, and they're not joining the workforce. They're not going to get out there, and that's wrong. Be a parent. Kick your kid in the ass and get them motivated and get them moving in the game of life.
Thank you.
Sorry about that one there, Adam. I shouldn't have had that caffeine.
No, I'm glad you did, man. No, for me, it's always been a world of not wanting to offend too many people. And in reality, you know, I'm the hardest worker on a job site or in town, the one that's bleeding, the one that's hurting, just like you. Why? Because we have to provide.
You provide, but also you lead by example. You don't need to say, look at me. And that's the world we live in nowadays, is that look at me, because of all the cell phone technology, Twitter and Instagram. It's like everyone's like going, look at me. No.
You know,
I don't need to look at you. Why don't you just put forth a little bit of effort right there? Your effort will speak volumes for you.
You know, you being a lifetime natural with no enhancement drugs, and me also. I'm not at your level, but I always just wanted to be big and muscular and strong, you know, to go into a room, especially with family members, and, you know, really put in the effort to eat properly, train properly, and then instead of saying hi, the first thing they say is, whoa, we've been hitting the test.
Oh,
you sit there, no, the only test that I've ever taken is the test of life, where you get this shit that you got on your body by hard work. Mommy or daddy is not going to be able to pay somebody for you. Even if you do take the juice, you still got to put in the work. You still got to work hard. And that, it just drives me nuts that people think that. So when you come across somebody, it doesn't matter how tall they are, but you can tell that they take respect in their life and just how they are. That's kind of how we came into contact with each other, is that we want to be able to, you know, gravitate towards those positive, hardworking people that aren't the problem in the world these days. Yep. I mean, that's a huge thing, and I get it, all right? You know, parents came up, and they might be in my age group that have kids, or even any age group that says, I don't want my kids to have that hard life that I had, so I'm going to try to give them a better life. In reality, you turned out the way you did because you had to go without food, or you had to go get yourself into a situation in order to pay. And there is no losing. You have to come home with money. Oh, man. But let's set her down for a second.
Yep.
Are you a good swimmer, Dan?
I swim like a rock.
You know, you can hop on
the
my
water,
back.
then I just simply walk ashore.
I'll be like the gingerbread man story, you know. I'll be like the fox. All you gotta do is hop on my back, and I'll swim you across.
I know, we're here. We got the canoe off. We're getting ready to head. But if you want to swivel around, actually go around. We'll go around the pontoon boat here.
Oh man.
So that some viewers can see what our actual destination is going to be.
So bringing the canoe was just not.
We will bring it eventually. Right there.
Zoom in on that.
That's our destination.
An island.
There's an island right there. There's an island right there, and there's one more island back in behind my property. So.
That sounds good to me. Let's get that canoe down there.
Yep. and where dump trucks have dropped load after load. And
Dump trucks. How do you get it out there to the island?
well, no dump truck gets it. Oh, okay. Yeah, the dump truck dumps it all here, but they have to do it in a strategic way. They dump part of it, move forward, dump part of it, because I'm trying not to dump onto my neighbor's property. And then
Like lots of dirt. How do you get it out there to the island?
I'm a proud owner of 30 orange Home Depot buckets. So it's called manual labor. There's no app. There's no game we get to play. You know, you actually manually have to shovel the dirt into these buckets. I've got a two-wheel dolly. You stack 3 of these 5-gallon buckets on. You roll them out onto the dock. You load them up on to the pontoon boat. And then, you know, we sit kind of low in the water. I do think some of my neighbors might be taking some bets whether or not I will sink this time or not. And then you take them on out and you manually take it right back off again, spread it around, and repeat the process a couple 100 times.
Imagine
That's
training with the beast. That would be it, man. You can't get that kind of workout in a facility.
You know,
Only in
sometimes people say you've got luck like you're up the creek without a paddle. Well, I've got 2 paddles here right now. We're good to go.
Let's do it. So we had to do the rock, paper, scissors to see who got in the front and the back. As it stands, we both weigh about the same. Ultimate test, especially since I'm not paddling, I'm filming as we head out to the Beast's Island. Okay, I got to get to paddling or I'm going to get in trouble.
The nice part is all this turns green and literally you're hidden. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They caught the bear's back.
They know who the Beast is. You guys seen Ultimate, haven't you? Beat it.
You've been shitting on my property right now. Now it's time to get out.
Evict them. Well, cool.
Eviction will take place.
You know, just like on Mount Everest, they say the accidents always happen on the way down. In canoeing, it happens when you're getting out or in. But I'm pretty sure we're going to be all right.
So close, we're going to be able to scoot our butts from one seat right over onto the dock.
I better hit stop. Okay, cool. We're here.
No, just a law. Now this tree came down during last summer during the storm. I cut off every branch I possibly could so far. I had to wait until some of it rocked a little bit.
What a cool island.
And a couple of bigger pieces that I couldn't get out of it, I simply just pulled back up to as all the
Yeah, so we survived that one.
Neither one of us got wet in the process. That was a good thing. And actually, it's a beautiful day out. Wonderful day. We've had a chance to, to get some measurements and see the property.
It's a beautiful place, and got some video out on the canoe to see what it looks like. It's pretty awesome.
Now we're going to be brainstorming about all these diabolical ideas of what we could do on the island
to build with the Beast. Now, since the day is still young, we're on to our next adventure. What might that be?
Buffet with the Beast. We got a lot of BBBs going on here today, don't we? Building with the beast. Buffet with the Beast.
This gives me an opportunity to hop in. Hopefully their plates are octagon shape with the Beast.
No. We're going by platefuls and number of the stacks of plate that we have at the end to find out who will be the winner.
The number of plates. Is there any rules like you can't have too much bread, right? Because that'll shut you right down.
That's
I'm more of a protein stage right now. So
I'm a carnivore myself.
Well, that sounds good. If they won't let us in with the camera, we're gonna at least take that challenge as we spend the day with the Beast, getting ready to build with the Beast. And I'll tell you what, if I'm gonna get a runs, the runs from eating at some buffet is gonna be from eating a challenge with this guy.
They may try to run us out of there too. You eat too long, must go now.
You go now. You run for 1 week. All right, see you up there. Let me make sure it's recording. Make sure. Oh, see, this guy's been through hell and back just like you. All right, it's recording. So we'll just throw that on there. Oh, did we pass it?
Yep.
Yeah, you can say that too about this construction. So
Construction, Michigan is always in construction. I always tell people that the only company I want to own is the Orange Barrel Company. Orange barrels and orange cones, because they're everywhere. Is anyone working? No, but there's orange barrels and orange cones everywhere.
That drives me nuts, man. We just drove out of that thing. You got these guys leaning on shovels while the rest of us have to. I mean, I can't get a job doing that. Hey, what's big, orange, and sleeps 3?
I don't know. What is that?
County Road Commission truck. All right, so let's get back.
In the movie, what was it? The little pig.
The 3 Little Pigs?
No, not the 3 Little Pigs. But there's the farmer that actually he took a pig and turned and basically entered it into a dog show.
Was it Babe?
Yes, there you go, Babe.
Yeah.
Woo. Whoa! Ding, 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 ding! Get the prize.
I have kids, so.
Well, again, but the thing I like is the line. That'll do, pig.
That'll do.
Yes.
Love it. Yes.
Yes. So.
See, we're cool, man. We're manly, man, but we know the good movies. So, all that together, life is going great, and this happens to so many people, even probably you who's watching. Life is so awesome. And how long did it take to drop you right on your face?
Like I said, 2 weeks. Buying a home, selling a home, going to work, and then realizing you no longer have a job.
And that's a tough conversation as you drive around the block a couple times, trying to realize how you're going to basically say, I'm sorry it's not going to work. I thought it was going to be great. Famous lines, huh?
Yeah.
And so you see the poster and the rest.
Yeah. How do you tell that to your wife? How do you look at your children that need to keep a roof over their head? They got to keep food on the table. I mean,
Does this does strike home to whoever's watching this like it did to me, which is why I reached out to Dan on their podcast, him and Don Fry, Toxic Masculinity. Check it out. Great show. But I put a comment in the comment sections because they're talking about being real men. And my comment was something like this. This is why we're together now, driving, checking out some of this stuff. He's very approachable and he answers. What a great guy for that. But I didn't necessarily think I was calling him or Don out. I just simply said, look, don't forget about the guy that's just trying to get out of bed every day, that may have a crap job, but he still gets out of job. He goes to his job every day, gets out of bed every day. Why? To provide for his family. He may not be doing what he wants to do, but he's doing what he needs to do. And I wanted to make sure that those guys, even the fighting world, mad respect to any fighters out there, no disrespect, but there are men walking amongst us that aren't in the octagon, that are just as manly, trying to provide for their family. And I want to root for those people. And Dan responded to me that he agrees, and that's what they're hoping to present in the future, just different examples of people. And so then I said, why don't we connect if you have any projects, and you can check out the building industry. Maybe we can work on a couple of projects together. So hey, back to the fight scene. If they're, they always talk about glory and greatest fights and things like that, but this might be, I don't know if this is a touchy subject or not, but if there was a regret or like for me, some of the stuff that I've done, there's a documentary about the underground earth shelter that we built. I led that project. It is some manly stuff on that. But what people don't know, and we can cover it someday, is that while I was gritting my teeth, and I'll show some video of this, I fractured, just pulverized 2 molars. You know, one that's pulled, one that every year and a half I got to get another cap on till that one gets pulled. And my regret is, you know, even though I watch these guys fighting and football and hockey and everything else, I should have worn a mouth guard to keep my teeth from shattering. They shattered. That's why I have the pretty smile that I do. You know, missing teeth, and I don't even have a championship belt for that. So the question is, anywhere along the line, and I'm sure there are, and I don't know if regret's the proper word, but hopefully you know where I'm heading with the question. Anything through your career that, you know, I don't think that you'd change, because none of us would change. We wouldn't be who we are today, right? So maybe you can take that kind of thought and run with it.
Well,
in 10 miles, take exit 162 toward Jackson Road and Old United States.
the all knowing voice.
We'll
yes,
edit that out there.
but it's you know, that's a question that has been posed to me a lot of the time. If there was something that you could, if you could go back in time, you know, that's how this. You know, if you could go back in time and do something different, what would you do? Well, the reality is, right now, you can't go back in time. You have to live with whatever decision you made and continue to forge ahead. I always tell people that okay, I'll use one classic example. I always tell people that in UFC 4, Dan Severn showed up. That was it. Dan Severn showed up. Dan Severn Dan Severn trained for 5 days, an hour and a half a day, in a professional wrestling ring with Al Snow and 2 other professional wrestling proteges with an old pair of boxing gloves. Dan Severn did not learn a single striking technique. Dan Severn did not learn a single submission technique. Basically, I had 3 men that were willing to try to punch, kick, and do whatever submissions that they could do, wearing a pair of boxing gloves. And Dan Severn doesn't want to be punch kicked. I would simply move and stay out of range, and simply would clinch them, take them down, or jam them up against the ring ropes or into the turnbuckles. Because again, we were practicing inside of a professional wrestling ring, because that was the closest thing I could find to a cage that had some type of a confinement of an area. You know, when you look at the Ultimate Fighting Championships back then, there was only one cage in existence, and it was owned by the Ultimate Fighting Championship Company. Fast forward to today, you can go into almost any community and you will find either a gym that has either a full cage or a partial cage, and they'll all be talking about, yeah, we teach UFC, we teach mixed martial arts. And I'm thinking, these people can't spell UFC or they can't spell MMA, let alone try to teach it, you know. And it's you know, I lost my train.
No, but you know, that's a good point for UFC 4, you said, right?
Yeah.
Hoist Gracie.
We'll go get, okay, my whole point, okay, because you said if you go back in time. If UFC 5, I actually took out 32 days of my life. I left my family behind in Coldwater. I traveled out to Arizona. I stayed by myself. I ate by myself. I trained. A lot of my segments were by myself, the running, the lifting. But then it was a very unique setting that I had at Grand Canyon University, where basically I would be in a classroom with, like, I'll say just over 30 students. And I would grapple with every one of the students that wanted to grapple. And I would stay on the mat literally, you know, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes at a time. Then take a sip of water, go right back on out, wipe the sweat out of my face. But I would let them take any position they wanted. North, south, east, west. I would simply close my eyes. The name of the game was the moment that you touch, action was on. So they could come in any direction, including I lay down, and they could stand right on top, and I should drop right on down. And as soon as they touch, boom, hit. We're off to the game. And all it was submission grappling with simulated striking. So you're not really striking anyone and hurting them, but you simply go into like a hammer strike. And I literally would say it and actually do it. And you talk about seeing some terrified eyes, because they a lot of these students couldn't believe how quickly my mind was thinking and how quickly I would go into certain things. That was my training camp for 32 days, and I went out there and destroyed the field.
Well, the other part of that too, not to interrupt that thought, but in that first fight, it seems like if you haven't, and this is life, if you haven't been through something before, then you get that experience and that aha moment. You're like, I can do that, or now you know what's going to happen. In our building world, we know all kinds of things can happen, and I try to make sure that I try to force that action to happen as soon as possible so that we can deal with it. Does that translate it all over into that next fight where you obviously came out and you're like, I've got a whole list of things I know I can do now, and it's game on?
Well, yes, experience goes a long way with each match that you have. Just like we'd say, with each new project that you go on location at, you learn. Not every build is going to be the same. You're always having to tweak something, or you're going to run into an obstacle, and you have to know how to fly by the seat of your pants, improvise. So
the good thing is we don't have fists and knees and roundhouse kicks coming at us, unless maybe we have some unhappy clients. But we do got gigantic steel beams and cranes, and I can't tell you how many times I always got to the point where my wife, or before I was married, my mom would pack 3 coolers for all of the crews that I had, because I ate out once, and this place was called B&B Restaurant. It ended up the nickname of Barf and Butthole Spray, because I made the mistake of getting liver and onions, and we had a crane scheduled the next day, and I woke up puking and the runs, and I climbed up on the roof as each one of these gigantic panels, and I'll put some pictures up for that, were coming in while the crane's there at $400 an hour or whatever. Unbelievable. Homeowners there watching, and I stand over on the edge and barf off every time they're hooking up a panel. Thankfully, I wasn't crapping my pants still. So, there you go. Experience, right? Don't eat Don't eat that way. All right. Before we get started on this challenge, we've been talking about this for a while. What are the rules?
we are simply surveying what is here, the lay of the land right now. Don't want to sell myself short by just eating some rice here right now when I have some succulent meat. I'm a carnivore at heart.
And so that's just like the fight game, right? You want to size up the situation. We don't want to go jumping in if we know that there's another.
Who wants salad? I have,
we got the rest of our life to have salad, dude.
Exactly.
Let's have some good stuff.
Yes. Chow down.
Hey, so how about rules?
Oh, this is
no holds barred.
NHB right here now. No holds barred here now.
Okay.
It's all gonna go down.
And then
esophagus.
Plate count is the.
Well, just plate count till someone's unconscious, something like that.
Okay. If we get drug out, then that's like the knockout bonus.
Or thrown out.
That's right. Let's do it. Do you have any tips for the novice buffet attacker?
This is not for the weak-minded or the weak at digestion either. No bread, no bread.
No bread, don't.
Meat.
We are down to our first plate. Let's see what we can do next.
This one then, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I was using my dominant hand then. I think
I'm
going to have to show up and use my non-dominant hand.
He wasn't even trying, guys. Oh, no. All right, I'm going back in. The one thing we didn't do is have a bell to ring, but this is round 3. And everybody knows that Dan the Beast Severn just gets stronger in every round.
Set the plates on down, out of the way. Gotta have elbow room. Gotta watch out. Some people may have to be wearing goggles when they're on this because the sparks
just
coming off the
flying.
plate.
We were in a ferocious eating fest. They just put out the shrimp. This might be something that slows me down.
360 because somehow we've scared off everybody else in the establishment.
You're like, oh no.
Where did they all go? I mean, I politely said, get out of my way. Get out of my way.
Get out of his way. Well, because we have other stuff to hit today.
You have to sound like Arnold when you say that. Get out of my way.
Get out of the way. Head to the buffet. Do it now. Eat the shrimp. Eat some bread. My saving grace might be that we have some other stops to make today. to where we
We
reach
have
a truce. But I am still going to give it my all. As you can see, I'm still doing the protein, and Dan too.
I actually have a little bit of dessert.
He's
here.
got some
pineapple for the digestive system, and bananas good for the potassium.
There you go, all the competitors.
Even though this is my third time for hitting the salmon and some more chicken because it's good protein.
So that's a secret. So the Ken Shamrocks and the others that are out there wondering what the beast eats.
But Ken, there'll be something coming soon for you because we did pass your secret trading place, and there'll be a video that'll be coming soon just for you.
Post-fight interview at the buffet. We went 3 rounds with the beast. He could keep going, but he's going to take it easy on me because we got other places to get to.
It was very good. It was very good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, on to the next adventure. So the next part of our adventure here, we stopped by this Amish place that makes these little cabins, which huge fan on, and that's another way that Dan and I kind of got to know each other over the internet, is we share passions for what we do. I'm a high performance builder, also building these tiny homes and self-sufficient stuff. Dan's got some great ideas, and he showed me this place.
Time out. But Dan Severn actually started off at Arizona State University in construction engineering.
No way.
So it's like going, no, there's the passion I have for when I look at structures and buildings and things of that nature. So again, something that Adam has just learned here just now.
Wow, you can see that aha moment.
Never judge a book by its cover. There's might be a little bit more depth.
That's right. It's not what you look at. It's what you see. So that's what we're looking at with this whole building with the beast. We're trying to find something we might be able to build together besides some of these other projects that Dan has. This is our new little series.
I see a collaboration that's going to be taking place very easily.
Oh, it's exciting to think about it. And these things are awesome. We're here to, of course, check them out. Nobody's here to open the doors, but we can see through the window, and I can already tell you, I already have ideas going through my head.
It's called Peeping Adam.
Peeping Adam. Let's check these things out. Yes. What do you think they got in there for a toilet?
Well, I guess it's called back to nature, called composting.
Oh, you don't dig a hole underneath that and just let it go?
Well, you let it go, all right. You let it go inside of a container.
Yeah, see that little handle there. So after it turns to dust, you simply have your wife pull it out.
Oh, your wife pull it out?
I got a gag reflex.
I think that's a rather crappy job. I like all the woodwork myself. And that's where I'm trying to appease, the better half of both sides. Okay, yeah, let's paint a few walls, keep a few things out, because it's getting I gotta realize she's civilized. Maybe I'm not. I'm almost housebroken. Almost.
That's a great point, though. The manly men that are out there sometimes forget that our better halves do have important roles in our lives.
Yes, they do.
And having a smile on their face can mean multiple advantages for us and what we'd like to do. That's a nice way to say it, I think, right? But I think anybody, or I should say most people, if they saw that, had an opportunity to stay in it, would be really happy, man. It's so nice.
The novelty, to do this. It's something different. It's out of the norm. It's always like you feel, I'm back to nature. I'm being rustic. I'm being, whatever you want to think that you are, but dream the impossible. Make the impossible happen.
That's it. Man, I like it.
I like this.
Not only do I like it, but I'm 100% confident we could duplicate it. If we wanted to. But judging from their sign out front, maybe they do need to move a couple of these units. We'll get a hold of them.
You can help them move a couple of units, too.
There you go.
It's going to be a little bit tough to put down that pontoon boat, though.
Yeah, you got one with pontoons on the bottom of it.
I know how well it floats. And if me being in one doorway, you being in the other doorway, how far we get as a canoe.
That's true. If anybody could do it, we could do it. All right, on to the next thing. This is very cool. Definitely up my alley. And although I believe the next place that we're going to go back to where we started is about the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life, the training center.
We are entering the lair of the beast. Shh. Follow along. And as I was saying, it was an overhang, and you had to excuse some of the debris and mess, stuff like that. This was just an overhang, and by simply just walling it on in, at first I needed an office type of a setup. So again, you have to.
And I think I saw you on a podcast recently from here, right?
Oh yes, just recently doing that. So that was like the first part, and then coming over here, following along, I had basically the next room we're going into is a room where, as people came in here, this is kind of known as a mud room.
Oh, you got lockers.
This is the main entrance into the facility, but again it says, no street shoes. Que habla español. Okay, gotta make sure people understand that. No street shoes, because I'm not gonna walk into your house with muddy feet, snowy feet, stuff like that. Lose your shoes out here, hang your coat, stuff like that out here, and then come on in. What came up from it is that later, again, excuse the debris, I ended up putting in a storefront over it because I had put in two big picture windows so people could see pegboard set up, and then headgear, rest of knee pads, rest of shoes, that kind of stuff. And then, we're moving into the actual facility itself.
Whoa, you got a ring. Ha ha ha. That is cool.
It's bigger than the standard ring. The standard ring that all wrestlers will work into is what's known as an a 16 by 16, because that's the length of the 2 by 12s that it would come. And so this actually isn't known as a 20 by 20, but it's 20 on the outside dimensions. By the time you lose, a good little over a foot to a little over a foot, maybe 14, 16 inches between the turnbuckles, stuff like that, you got a shorter space. When you work in a 12 by 12, you really have to understand your craft, because you can't go flat. What I mean by flat, I can't go from ropes to ropes. I have to work diagonally, turnbuckle to turnbuckle, because that's the most real estate. So if I'm taking big body slams, things of that nature, if you have 2 6-foot tall men, a 12 by 12 losing a little over a foot because the turnbuckles is not going to work. The math doesn't work out.
So when you see that in say pro wrestling, they're slamming, they know position, they have to.
Well,
unless they're tossing them over the rope.
Most of them are used to working in bigger rings. They're not used to working into these smaller rings. Maybe on the independent scene, they might get on there. And that's really probably the backbone of professional scene, is all of these young professional wrestlers had to start somewhere. And usually it's for the smaller promotions, and they work in all kinds of really crappy rings. Literally when they step into this, because it has a 2-inch layer of foam onto it, it's got a nice layer of plyboard onto it, and then it has a 2 by 10, 16 inches on center. So it's a very sturdily built type of thing. And it makes a nice crash bang boom, but there's no screws coming on up to get hurt on. It's a lot of the workers, or aka professionals, have said it's probably one of the nicest rings that they have ever bumped in.
Nice.
That's a pretty good price. I mean, pretty good compliment.
That's for sure.
Professional wrestler. And I mean, other stuff that you're seeing is like the stains over to the side. I mean, it's, again, excuse the bit of the debris that you see. The blue pad, the red pad, these are known as crash pads. In amateur wrestling, they're not really utilized all that much unless you're working on like headlocks. But in freestyle wrestling, Greco-Roman, that's when you're going to see a lot more of the big throws. Belly to belly suplex, belly back suplexes, things of that nature. So you want to utilize that. You want to be able to do it safely with another partner. And then there's, in the next room I'll show you where actually I have a couple throwing dummies that tour. You'll throw the dummies first. Before you throw a real live human being. Although some of the live human beings I've had come to that door had the same IQ as that dummy though too. we won't mention any names here now, will we?
No, we'll keep it. This is so sweet.
But then you see some of the hardware, and
wow.
The cool part about this was I didn't put this stuff up in my app, because this stuff was all just stored. in my storage room. On a weekend that I was gone, I came back, and a few of my guys basically, they said, we knew you were never going to put it out. So we hope you're not mad at us. We put it out for you.
That's
So
fantastic.
That was, again, that speaks volumes.
Wow.
So going from here, this is a lot of hard work, and they're like, do we have it all? I go, you're missing a few boxes, but that's okay.
Jeez, oh Pete's. Wow.
What's behind, I refer to this as Dan Severn's insane asylum because it's padded walls. It's a planet floor. Go crazy, okay? One of my most reliable workout partners right here, Adam. Because it's known as the Adams machine. It's a wall-mounted takedown machine, and the gentleman, the creator of it, is a gentleman by the name of Carl Adams, who is a coach at back east, and he's the one that designed this thing. You'll see it kind of heavily listed to the left because I do a mean lateral drop to the left, and thus machine tends to lean that way. From what I've been told, they've only ever received 2 machines back, broken, from me.
Both of them from you.
Yes.
Well, I don't want to be on the receiving end of that.
Sometimes I don't know how to play. It's so nice.
Come on, Dan, you're such a nice guy. Until you don't have to be
Only
nice.
while I'm on my Prozac.
So I think you have.
Just a little trinkets of the trade from just days gone by. The only thing I ever actually had put up here in the first place was the American flag, because I was big about the American flag. And whenever I would run a kids class, the very first thing that they would have to do is come to attention, and then they would have to say the Pledge of Allegiance. And I had more parents like going, wow, we can't even do that in a high school. I know, I said, but this isn't the high school. This is the junior high. This is Dan Severn's place. You have the honor and the privilege of coming here, but if I don't care for the way that you conduct yourself, I will ask you to leave, because I choose who gets to be here. I am God, executioner, all in one.
Right on.
And that's the way the world should be.
We do the Pledge of Allegiance every day.
Yes, exactly.
Look at some of this stuff.
We'll take you through some of the other, then we'll come back to it. We'll do the exit and come back through the whole place. But it's even the painting there. That was somebody did that painting for me and then gave it to me. I had to look close to find out who the artist was onto it, because that was given to me a long time ago. It's like going, what am I going to do with this? And someone said, well, why don't you just hang it over the wall? I'm thinking,
You should. It's an honor,
okay,
man.
Right? Well,
You know, you made it with somebody hands you
a painting.
painting of yourself. I wanted to get a shot of this. There's you and old Ken Shamrock again. That's right. My kind of place right here. This is where it happens. Look at this iron game. There's several people that follow me that would love to join me in this area. Look at that. It is sweet.
This is what you say that you get out of it what you put into it. You earn by putting in your sweat equity.
Yes, how bad do you want it? Mommy, daddy can't give you the bod or the skills. You gotta put the time in.
Another room that's here, I'll kick on another light for you so you can see a little bit more where that kicks on one light. I just have another light switch over here.
Ah, man, this is cool.
So now you see how much all lights on up. Again, yeah, it's kind of well because this used to be all mats into here. And after we got the ring built, it's kind of like going, okay, let's just put the ring here. We'll put the one, we'll split. That mat used to go together, used to be in one little room. These are known as blue mat matches because once a professional wrestler has learned their skill set of chain wrestling, they had to start then putting together the first of the matches. But they had to earn the right to ever go in that ring. They had to come over here and perform 5 successful blue mat matches. Hardly anyone ever passed the first time. And if they go, it's based on a stopwatch. We just start, you got 5 minutes, and then once you step on that mat, you have to be in character. Whether you're the bad guy, or the heel, or the good guy, the baby face, you have to be in character. And there are no ropes. There are no turnbuckles. You literally have to know how to chain wrestle. That's the reinforcement. So after you pass 5 blue band matches, you now have graduated and earned the privilege now of climbing into the ring. And now you learn phase 2 of professionalism, how to run ropes, how to take turnbuckles, and then start doing all kinds of other stuff on the mats. So I had a method to my madness.
Are those the dummies you're talking about?
Yes, this is one of them. Actually, well, actually, these are both of them right there.
Can I body slam one of them?
Well, you are more than welcome if you'd like to body slam one of them. You can do a belly to back suplex. You can do a belly to back suplex. I don't. Actually, it's not this one, but the other one. Its neck is probably a little wobbly because I probably suplexed it a few too many times. I think I broke the neck on that one. So, but no, these are. I would say that my 3 most reliable workout partners was the wall-mounted takedown machine next door, the heavy bag, and the throwing dummy. They were always on time, and they never complained.
I was gonna say that.
And in my mind, it's like when I think I'm exhausted, I'm tired, it's like I can almost hear them talking. So, you're done, are you? Are you giving up? And I would think this is that's where I can rise up and come in and attack them one more time. Just one more time. Because that's the difference between winning and losing is, can you get up one more time and face the opponent? This is, well, I call it, again, the mess hall. This is where food preparation, stuff like that takes place. A little dining hall, but also this was like a dining hall classroom because by each table you got a bank of 4 plugs. So that you can put your laptop out there. There's actually, we have lamps, there's more lamps at each one so that you can have the privacy of the lamp, be out here working on something where you're not disrupting the other people. So when you look back in here,
Holy
you got a
smokes.
full-fledged commercial kitchen.
Wow.
So again, you got the grills, the ovens,
Drool over that.
refrigerators. So again, you have to excuse because it's been winterized for the last couple of years.
Oh, that's
Again,
awesome.
Again, this was like limited students only because I had people that would be staying back here. So I don't want other people coming back here that don't belong in here because again, excuse what it looks like now. But the way this was set up, there's 9 bunk beds, and there's racks. There's racks to where you got people that were staying in here. So you'd have a minimum of 9 people that would stay back in here, and they would use the top rack as a storage unit or underneath, and then they had shelving. So, and then behind it is actually the restrooms, the showers. There's 4 showers. There's 4 toilets. Wow. There's 4 sinks.
It's
so
legit
that you can take
then.
care of multiple people at the same time. So this is a throwback from days gone by that these types of facilities don't exist anymore. And I'm hoping to bring it back to life one more time here and to see what happens.
Shit, man, it's an awesome facility. Can only imagine.
Most people don't even know it exists. That's just it. They just don't know it exists because they can't see that. They can't see the road. There's no kind of signage that says anything like this. But maybe in this new world of the cyber world, maybe we'll do some more videos and we'll get it known here once again.
This place is legit, guys. As far as training, no fluffiness. If you want to come in to a place that a lot of us dream about, this is it.
This is where you come to where you find out if your dreams are a reality or are they just a pipe dream.
Yeah, and if for
sweat
some
equity goes a long way.
you get sifted through the bunch and come out as some serious talent, I'm sure Dan can set you up with the next level. But this facility is amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's amateur wrestling, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts. There's the opportunities are there. And as I said before, the only people that are allowed to come back in this area are the people that actually live there because you don't have a locker that you're putting your valuables, stuff like this, that sits out in the open, unless you have a suitcase that you put it into. But there's a trust issue there that if you become known as the one that might be stealing something, you're gone.
You become the dummy.
Yes.
Well, one of the things that I see that this place does, like just, what's the word, emanate, or just kind of the bubbles coming off of something is respect, which is something that's missing. Respect for yourself, respect for a facility, respect for your comrades, the people that you're staying with, their stuff, and instead of just trying to get likes on YouTube. If you want to be the best, facility like this is a place to come to.
A lot of times, early in the morning, the guys will come out here to see what did I write on this, because this is the dry easel. And because I have a lot of people that right now on the internet, they're seeing how I posted on my Facebook pages, putting these posts out and stuff like that. Well, way before they were doing that, I just took the dry easel and we cut up there. You get out of life what you put into it.
Well, tell me that one again about the health.
Life. One of the things I say a great deal that, and the expression goes like this. Life is divided into two halves. In the first half of your life, you're going to destroy your health while trying to acquire wealth. In the second half of your life, you're willing to spend that wealth trying to reacquire your health. And in the end, you'll give it all away for a better life because you can't take it with you. So think about that now while you're young. Invest time, money, and energy into taking care of your body, taking care of your mind. Get off your ass and do something mentally and physically stimulating. So the inevitability is we will all die. But how many people have truly lived the most successful and exciting life that you can? I know I am.
Let's look like a true champion.
Something that I came up with probably, 20 some odd years ago. The weight room dirty dozen. Now again, there's 47 different exercises because of just the different things you can do with the weights. But I used to always say that you're only going to do 12 exercises to a timer. We'll have music playing that kind of help maybe, keep you motivated with some good old rock and roll, because that's what Dan Severn is, a rock and roller. So I'll play some rock and roll. But then 2 minutes, and then you get 30 seconds in between to get to the next station. Only 12 exercises, that's it. But you'd be surprised how much toast you'll be, because by the time you do 12 exercises for 2 minutes, do the math, 2 times 12, 24 minutes.
Yeah.
30 seconds in between to get to each station right there. So you got another, basically, it ends up to 6 minutes. In 30 minutes, you did a complete, entire body workout. And people say they don't have time. Oh, you don't have 30 minutes. You're wasting my time now, is how I look at it.
That's right.
See the door? Don't let it hit you on the way out.
Yeah,
because once again, I have other people that are more serious than what you are.
Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
Yes. Right there.
The man. Wish I could remember a Chuck Norris joke right now, but I can't.
Well, these are all sayings, but if you look at out here, Chuck Norris is usually a stunt double during crying scenes, because he doesn't cry. I mean, just to read the first one.
There you go. Chuck Norris once kicked a horse in the chin. Its descendants are known today as giraffes.
See, those are
Love you, Chuck. This has been cool. My kind of spot right here. Check that out, boys.
Right there. That's Denny Cass. He's a gentleman that used to be the president of the Michigan Wrestling Club, one half, but also a professional wrestler known as Denny Cass, but his real name was Dennis Kaspowitz. And he's a gentleman that brought me down to Lime, Ohio to meet Al Snow, aka Al Sarvin, and for the very first time. So he's a person that helped launch my career, and he was surprised just how quickly I took to professional wrestling, the same way as I took to amateur wrestling, with a lot of gusto, because I had no safety net. As I said before, you heard the story. I'm like the Viking ship that came ashore. I told all my troops to get all the supplies off, all of our weaponry off, and then I burned the ship, because there's no retreat. We don't go back, we forge ahead.
That is awesome. Thank you for opening up your life to me for this exciting day, and I look forward to any, building projects. You can cross over into my industry, and then maybe I can learn a little bit more inside this training facility. But this has been a dream come true.
There's going to be collaborations, some really cool things coming out of.
So people are going to have to stay tuned to see what we cook up.
Stay tuned for part 2. I tried good. I mean, I'm going to blow down to chow down, but
You got the green beans there.
you bet that, yeah. A foot like a wild ounce. I'm still it'll be 10 times more than what I should be consuming, but hey, it's my meal for the day.
Hey, there you go. That's what man plates look like. A lot of meat. You see mine, I did put a little rice on there and got
Wait.
one broccoli.
Are you allowed to say that? A man plate? That sounds so sexist right now. What are you trying to say? Aren't you woke? Haven't you woken up here yet? Where's your purple hair? Where's your 5 earrings and the nose ring and you know? I don't get it. You sound like an old. They sound like something ancient.
Like back in the day, a thing.
A real man.
Well,
Real man.
I'll tell you the truth.
So I
I identify an attacker of buffets.
Yes, you're in good company.
Let's do it.
No prisoners.
No prison.
Well, again, when you look at this building, you simply know that, okay, sure, the ceilings, the roof is rough shape, water's probably coming out through, but you know that it's still standing, it's solid. You don't see nothing listed or in that nature. The bones are still there. Squirrels are going a little bit crazy out there right now, but
just the potential.
just what do you turn that into? Your limitation is parking. Where do you start? You hate to think of all these trees that are in front of this, clean them on up. Put some flowering, some nice landscaping.
Well, I have to go with Doc Brown from Back to the Future on this one. Dan, you're not thinking fourth dimensionally. All this grass area in front, that could be parking. And if you did anything commercial, the city or township would make sure you had enough parking for the number of people that could go in there. But the possibilities are there, man.
No, the possibilities are endless.
I like the way you think.
Makes you wonder what that little building is behind it.
On the next adventure, we're gonna go inside that thing.
Maybe I was frozen. Bad little girls and boys.
That's where Dan LaBouche Severn would be. You get out in the shack.
Get out the thumb screws.
That's right. Well, cool, man. I didn't know that you had such an appreciation for architecture
buildings.
and buildings. That's really cool to know.
I like drive to old communities because you see some of the most gems. You see just absolute gems in these communities that go, if you can only pluck that up and bring it outside and put it somewhere on just an acre of land or 5 acres of land, how majestic it would be. But in that city with the houses butted up to each other, it just kind of takes away from it all.
So you think about, this is probably the first thing out here everybody built around, but it must have been cool. What an adventure today. You got old honky tonk.
Well, there's people like the honky tonk man, but then you got even down here, you got Ox Baker down here. What a legend Ox Baker was, and then you got
Typhoon and Earthquake, and you got Ted DiBiase, Rick Martel, Doink and Dink. Come on now, Public Enemy, Bushwhackers. Who could forget those guys?
Especially if you keep on going down, you got
different Doink.
Greg Valentine, the Hammer. Okay.
Oh yeah, the Hammer, sweet.
You got the legend Luthez himself. I mean, that's who basically handed me my replica of the NWA belt. So the gentleman right here, that's nostalgia type. Look, what a monster he was. I mean, he had the stranglehold on that NWA title for a solid decade. Then there's what show was that called? That this little animated.
Oh yeah, South Park.
South Park. There was actually a South Park Dan Severn on there.
No way.
So Tatanka, Native Warrior.
Abdullah the Butcher. Tatanka. We remember him.
The one gentleman right there, he's just he's a Hulk Hogan impersonator, and then at the very end, Tugboat.
Tugboat, man, yeah. Oh, that's sweet. That's so sweet.
And here we are at the Capri Drive-In. I do believe one of my last children might have been conceived at the drive-in here, somewhere between the popcorn and whatever other sweets I was indulging in.
Wow, that is a dying breed in this country, a drive-in theater.
And most people, they may have to ask Siri to Google it for them.
There you go. Google Coldwater, Michigan, the Capri.
And it does run during the spring, summer, and fall months, and then shuts down for the winter.
That's cool.
And
Haven't
it
seen
actually
a.
has- We'll go down a little bit further because there's actually also a putt-putt golf course and some other stuff that goes with it.
And as you mentioned, the town north of here is called Colon.
And in between is Cleanser, the colon cleanser.
Pancreas. Cool. Thank you for showing me this gem in your town. Love it. Haven't seen a drive-in movie area in a long
Long
time.
time, yes.
Man.